Hello, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Addiction with Christie. Today I want to talk to you about the functional addict. The functional addict. In the last episode I said people hear addiction and erroneously think it's that person who has dreadlocks on the street, whose mind has been altered by drug use. But we now looked at the pointers that tell a person he or she is addicted, and you can see that you don't have to have dreadlocks to be in full-blown addiction. So the functional addict is a person who can still function in spite of his addiction. That's just simply what it is. Every drug that is abused, every habit that becomes an addiction affects a different part of the brain. But the most affected part of the brain is the prefrontal cortex here. And in the prefrontal cortex, we have what is called the limbic system. And it's the limbic system that helps a person make rational choices and rational decisions. The only place addiction attacks is mostly, in fact, the biggest area that is affected by addictions is the prefrontal cortex here. That's why a person who is addicted doesn't make choices that make sense. For example, the salary comes, there are responsibilities, but because the person is a shopping addict, they can finish the salary that day. It doesn't make sense to others. Like, you have responsibilities. How can you spend the whole salary the first week of the first month on shopping? And sometimes with things that are not even needed. All right, so that's what happens in the frontal part of the brain. The reason why a person can be addicted and still function is because the base of the brain here, that part of the brain, addiction does not touch it. Addiction does not affect it whatsoever. It remains the same. If you look at the three-dimensional images of the brain, the normal brain and the brain of somebody who is abusing substances or has any behavioral addiction, you'll notice that the bottom of the brain, the stem of the brain is normal. Nothing touches that part of the brain. And interestingly, that's the part of the brain that helps you to do things that are routine. Is why a person who is so drunk and staggering can enter his car and drive home safely. Because that driving is a routine thing. Is why a person who operates a machine can be high on drugs but still operate his machine. And a lot of people feel that, as long as I can still fit do my job, I still fit drive the motor now, I still fit hold the machine now, I still fit sing the song now, I fit, as long as they can function in the things they are used to doing, they think they are okay. But you're actually not. It's a gradual eroding of brain matter. Every addiction eats up brain matter like acid eats up the skin. It's a matter of time when enough brain matter has been degraded, has been eaten up by the addiction. You have what I call a short circuit in the brain, and that's what causes the psychosis in people who have abused substances for a long time or abused the wrong kind of substances over a period of time. So the functional addict is addicted, but he can still function. And then the deception is that, oh, since I can still function, there's nothing wrong with me, I am all right, I can continue. So if you're a functional addict today, please measure yourself and then decide, no, the fact that I'm functioning doesn't mean I am free of addiction. Till I see you again, have a good evening.